People related to a psychopath. What is your creepiest story? Part 2. He raises it up and the muzzle is a few inches from my face. I reached up, I grabbed the muzzle and I pushed as hard as I could, sending the butt into the little kid's face. His nose is wounded, he's crying, he's screaming about how he's going to end me, how I'm finished. So now everyone is awake. Lights are flipped on and I see that it's a toy rifle made to look like an AR-15. Apparently, this little kid was planning to stick the muzzle in my face and pull the trigger to scare the crap out of me with flashing lights and electronic firearm sounds. My sister-in-law was really mad. Her chosen narrative is that I'm a mentally unstable lunatic who is a danger to all children. She calls the cops, she insists, despite the protestations of my wife, that she's having me arrested and charged with child mistreatment. Police arrive, interviews take basically the whole day. I'm a little worried that, getting arrested aside, I might not be able to leave and go home the next day as planned because these cops might not be done with their investigation. Fortunately, it didn't play out that way. See, this little kid wasn't just crazy around me, he was crazy everywhere and had been for years. The police had a file on him because the school was required to call the police every time he threatened to bring a firearm to school, which was often. I laid out my version of events much like I did here. I didn't see him and have a flashback thinking he was an insurgent. I saw him, I knew what he is going through his head, and I wanted to try to prevent him from ending my family. They did let me go home on schedule, and a week later the detective called me to let me know there would be no charges. He also told me that his interview with my nephew was chilling and he hopes that my sister-in-law pulls her head out of the sand and gets the kid some help. I told him she won't ever, and when he's 30 years old and on trial she'll be crying and saying he's just a boy. Hopefully he doesn't hurt anyone, but I know the odds are stacked against that hope.